The sun burned hot above the Egyptian desert, painting the endless dunes in shades of gold and red. The wind whispered over the sand, carrying ancient secrets that had been buried for thousands of years. For Dr. Aaron Miles, an archaeologist with sharp eyes and quiet determination, this was not just another dig site, it was the dream of a lifetime. For 10 years, Aaron had studied rumors about a lost pharaoh whose name had been erased from every record. Local legends spoke of a ruler so powerful that even the gods feared him. Others whispered that his tomb was cursed, sealed beneath stone to protect the world from his wrath. Most scholars dismissed it as myth, but Aaron believed otherwise. He stood near the excavation pit, brushing sand off his hat as his assistant, Mara, waved him over. "Dr. Miles, we found something." Aaron hurried across the wooden planks that crossed the site. His boots sank slightly into the soft sand as he approached a square hole surrounded by ropes and tools. Down below, the rest of the team was busy brushing away debris and dust. A faint glimmer shone from the darkness beneath. "What do you see?" Aaron asked. "It's different," Mara replied, kneeling near the opening. "Not limestone like the others. It's darker, almost like glass." Aaron climbed down carefully and ran his fingers over the exposed surface. It was smooth, black, and cool to the touch despite the burning heat. Strange carvings ran along the surface, hieroglyphs made not of words but of symbols none of them recognized. The lines seemed to pulse faintly under the sunlight as if alive. "This isn't a normal burial chamber," Aaron said softly. "Get the scanners." Within minutes, a portable scanner was set up. The machine hummed, sending small waves into the structure. The monitor displayed a rough outline. Beneath them was a hidden chamber larger than any found before. At its center was a rectangular object, likely a sarcophagus. Aaron's heart raced. "After all these years," he murmured, "we finally found it." By sunset, the team had cleared enough sand to reveal a stone door sealed with 3 massive slabs. Across its surface were words etched in faded gold. Mara cleaned off the dust with a soft brush, revealing the message clearly. "He who hears the voice of gold shall never leave." The group exchanged uneasy looks. One of the local workers made a sign of protection and stepped back. "Sir, maybe we should stop," he said quietly. "These words, they mean curse." "The desert remembers," Aaron gave a small, patient smile. "Every tomb in Egypt has a curse written on it. This one is no different. Don't worry, we'll be careful." Still, a strange tension hung in the air. Even Aaron, though brave and curious, felt a chill crawl down his spine. The words glowed faintly under the light of their lamps as if the gold was still alive. They set up camp nearby for the night. As the stars appeared above, Aaron sat by his tent, staring at the door. The desert was quiet, too quiet. He could hear the distant sound of wind shifting the dunes, but nothing else. The air itself seemed to hum with energy. The next morning, they prepared to open the chamber. Heavy machinery lifted the slabs one by one. As the final one moved, a deep rumble echoed through the ground and a sudden gust of wind rushed out of the opening. It was cold, unnaturally cold. Everyone stepped back in shock. The smell of old dust and metal filled the air. Aaron, shielding his face, took a cautious step forward and aimed his flashlight into the darkness. The beam revealed a long hallway leading down into the earth. The walls lined with carvings of stars, planets, and what looked like machines. Wheels and gears unlike anything from ancient Egypt. "What is this?" Mara whispered. "Not just a tomb," Aaron replied slowly. "It's something else. Something older." They descended carefully, the air growing cooler with every step. The tunnel opened into a massive chamber, its ceiling so high it disappeared into shadows. Golden statues lined the walls, each depicting tall, robed figures with elongated faces, not quite human. At the center stood a stone platform, and on it a sarcophagus that shone brighter than anything they had ever seen. Aaron approached slowly. The lid of the sarcophagus was carved with the image of a pharaoh wearing a golden mask. But unlike other royal tombs, this pharaoh's expression was not calm or proud. It was sad, almost human. He brushed dust from the carvings and read the faint symbols beneath. "I am Ankara, Lord of the Sun's Breath. The eternal voice awaits." Aaron blinked. The words didn't make sense. "The sun's breath?" he murmured. "That's not in any Egyptian text." Mara stepped beside him, holding her scanner. "Dr. Miles, the readings are strange. I'm getting traces of—" She stopped. "Metal. There's metal under the stone." Aaron frowned. "Metal?" In a sarcophagus from 3000 BC? Before they could say more, a faint sound echoed through the chamber, a low rhythmic hum like a machine powering up. The golden mask carved on the sarcophagus moved slightly. The lips seemed to tremble, and then a soft, whispering voice filled the room. Who disturbs the silence of the sun? Everyone froze. The air turned heavy, as if the desert itself had stopped breathing. One of the workers dropped his lamp, and it shattered, plunging part of the chamber into darkness. Mara grabbed Aaron's arm. "Tell me that was a trick," she whispered. Aaron shook his head, unable to look away. The voice came again, this time clearer, calm, almost sorrowful. "I remember death." "Do you, wanderer?" The golden mask's mouth was open slightly, and from within it a faint light glowed, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Aaron forced himself forward, heart pounding. "I'm Dr. Aaron Miles," he said shakily. "We are explorers. We mean no harm." No answer came. The light faded, and the room fell silent once more. The team looked around, frightened but unable to leave. Aaron leaned closer, studying the mask. The metal wasn't ordinary gold. It shimmered with colors that shifted as he moved. He could see patterns beneath the surface, like tiny circuits. "This isn't possible," he whispered. "This metal is advanced, far beyond anything they had." Mara swallowed hard. "You think it's alien?" Aaron didn't answer. He didn't want to. But deep inside, he felt a spark of realization. The strange carvings, the black glass walls, the words about the sun's breath, it all fit together in a way that defied history. They decided to seal the chamber temporarily and return the next day with better equipment. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. The desert wind howled outside his tent, but beneath it he thought he heard something else. A faint whisper calling his name. He stepped outside, flashlight in hand. The stars shimmered overhead, clear and endless. The ruins stood silent in the moonlight. Still the voice came again, soft but distinct. "Aaron!" He turned toward the dig site. The light from his torch caught something glimmering, a reflection deep within the open tunnel. Against his better judgment, he walked closer. The air grew colder, and his light flickered. At the entrance to the chamber, he stopped. The golden mask was glowing faintly again, even from a distance. It looked almost alive. "Do not fear," the voice whispered. "The gate is opening." Aaron felt his breath catch. "What gate?" He whispered back, but there was no reply. Only silence and a growing vibration under his feet, like the earth itself was waking up. He backed away slowly, the hair on his arms standing on end. As he reached the surface, the glow below faded, and the desert was quiet again. He stood under the stars, heart pounding, realization dawning like the rising sun. The lost Pharaoh wasn't just a man. He was something more, something not of this earth. And whatever power had been sealed inside that golden mask was waking once again. Morning sunlight stretched across the desert, turning the dunes into waves of glowing gold. The excavation camp was quiet, but inside Aaron's tent his mind was restless. He had hardly slept. The faint whisper he heard last night echoed in his thoughts again and again. The gate is opening. He tried to tell himself it was only his imagination, a mix of exhaustion and excitement. But deep inside, he knew it wasn't just a dream. The golden mask had spoken. He had heard it clearly. When Mara entered the tent with a cup of strong coffee, she noticed the dark circles under his eyes. "You didn't sleep again, did you?" she asked softly. Aaron shook his head and smiled weakly. "How can I sleep after what we saw, that mask?" "It moved, Mara, it spoke." Mara sat down beside him, her tone cautious. "The others think it was just air escaping from the sarcophagus. The pressure, maybe. You know how sound travels strangely in closed chambers." Aaron sighed. "You really believe that?" She hesitated. "No," she admitted finally. "I heard it too. And it said your name." Both fell silent for a moment. Outside, the desert wind blew lightly against the tents. The sound almost seemed like a whisper again, reminding them that the tomb below was waiting. Later that morning, the team returned to the underground chamber. They moved carefully, lighting more lanterns and setting up cameras. The air felt cooler than before, almost as if the temperature dropped the deeper they went. The sarcophagus stood exactly where they had left it. The golden mask still lay upon it, shining faintly under the lamps. Nothing looked out of place, yet the room carried a feeling that something unseen was watching them. Aaron approached first. He placed his hand on the stone surface, half expecting to feel vibration, but there was none. Still, he could not shake the sense of energy hidden beneath it. "Mara, set up the scanning drone," he said. She nodded and activated a small hovering machine. It began mapping the room with soft blue light, creating a digital image on the tablet in her hand. "Dr. Miles," she said after a few minutes, frowning. "There's metal inside the sarcophagus. Not just jewelry or tool. It's something structured, like machinery." Aaron's eyes widened. "Machinery? Inside a pharaoh's coffin?" Before she could answer, the drone's signal flickered and died. The chamber's lights dimmed for a brief moment and a low hum filled the air again. Aaron looked up. The mask's eyes had begun to glow faintly. "You have returned, Wanderer," the voice said, slow and echoing. Mara gasped, stepping back. One of the workers dropped his equipment and ran toward the tunnel, shouting prayers. Aaron's breath caught. He forced himself to stay calm. "Who are you?" he asked. The mask pulsed with golden light as it replied, "I am the one who remembers. I am Ankara, last ruler of the Sky Dynasty. The body beneath this stone once held my spirit. The voice you hear is what remains of my soul." Aaron exchanged a look with Mara. His heart pounded. "You're alive? How can that be? You've been here for thousands of years." The mask's lips moved slightly and its voice grew softer, like the sound of the wind through hollow stone. "The flesh is gone. Only thought remains. The visitors of the sun gave me this gift, a mind preserved in gold, eternal and awake." Mara whispered. "Visitors of the sun?" "Yes," the mask answered. "They came from beyond the sky when the world was still young. They shared their knowledge, their light. They taught us to build, to rule, to touch the stars. But mankind turned away. They sealed the gate between worlds and buried me here, a warning and a memory." Aaron stared in awe. Every word the mask spoke defied everything he knew about history. Ancient Egypt was never known for machines, let alone technology advanced enough to store a mind. He spoke carefully. "You said, the gate is opening." "What gate?" The mask glowed brighter for a moment. "The gate of the sun, the path between your world and theirs. You have broken the seal, human. The moment you opened this chamber, the gate stirred from its sleep." Aaron felt the weight of those words. He looked around at the walls, at the strange symbols that looked like both hieroglyphs and circuitry. They weren't just decorations. They were part of a system. "Mara, look at this," he said, running his hand over one of the carvings. "These lines, if you trace them, they connect to the platform under the coffin." Mara's scanner, though flickering, showed energy signals beneath the stone. "You're right," she said, her voice trembling. "It's some kind of power conduit. But how is it still active after all this time?" "Because the sun never dies," the mask whispered again. "Its fire sleeps, waiting for those who remember." The team backed away as the room filled with a soft hum. The golden statues along the walls began to shimmer faintly, as if the metal within them was heating up. A circle of light appeared on the ground, forming ancient symbols none of them could read. Mara looked terrified. "Dr. Miles, we have to leave." "This isn't natural." Aaron hesitated. His scientific curiosity pulled him closer to the mystery. "If we leave now, we may never understand this. This could change human history." Before he could take another step, the mask spoke again, louder this time. "Knowledge demands a price. The gate hungers for memory. You cannot awaken it without offering part of yourself." Aaron froze. The light reflected in his eyes like molten gold. "What do you mean?" "When the first of your kind reached for the stars, they forgot gratitude. They sought only power. The Sun Lords turned away. To reopen the way, a human heart must remember what was lost." The words filled the room, echoing in every direction. For a moment, the chamber seemed to shake slightly. Dust fell from the ceiling and the lanterns flickered. Mara pulled Aaron's arm. "We need to go now." He finally nodded and they backed toward the exit. As they climbed the tunnel, the mask's voice followed them one last time. "Do not fear what you awaken, Wanderer. The sky remembers." Back on the surface, the bright desert sun felt unreal after the strange golden glow below. The remaining workers refused to go back underground. Some packed their tools, muttering about curses and angry gods. Aaron sat in the shade of his tent, staring at his dusty hands. Mara placed a cold bottle of water next to him, but said nothing. Finally, Aaron spoke. "I think we found something far beyond what anyone expected. This isn't just history, Mara. This is a message from another world." Mara frowned. But what if it's dangerous? What if that gate it mentioned brings something we can't control? Aaron looked toward the excavation site. The black stone entrance glimmered faintly under the sun, as if reflecting light that wasn't there. Maybe, he said quietly, but it's already awake. Whatever power was hidden there, it knows we've found it. That night, Aaron couldn't resist returning to the chamber alone. He told himself it was only for research, but deep down it was curiosity. The same curiosity that had driven him his entire life. He entered quietly, holding a small lantern. The chamber was silent again, no sound, no movement. But as he stepped closer to the sarcophagus, he saw that the mask was no longer resting flat. It had shifted slightly, turned toward the entrance, toward him. Aaron froze. The mask's eyes glowed again, faintly this time. "You came back," it said softly. "You are not afraid," Aaron swallowed. "I'm not afraid of knowledge." The mask's golden surface shimmered. "Then you are worthy to hear. The ones who gave us light came from beyond your stars. They were called the Sun Lords. They walked among men, teaching the art of creation. But mankind turned their gift into weapons and the sky burned. To save what was left, they sealed the knowledge away." Aaron listened, heart racing. "And you?" "You were one of them." "I was chosen to remember," the mask replied. "I ruled this land under their guidance. When the betrayal came, I asked to preserve my mind in gold so that one day if humanity sought truth again, I could guide them." Aaron's voice trembled. "Guide us to what?" "To remembrance," it said. "To the truth that your kind was never alone." The words echoed through the chamber, filling it with strange warmth. Aaron realized he was standing in a place that connected two worlds, one ancient, one far beyond the stars. He looked down at the golden mask, its eyes like twin suns. "Then tell me," he whispered. "What must I do?" The mask's glow grew stronger. "Listen," it said simply. "The chamber itself will speak. The gate will answer to the heart that listens." As Aaron stepped back, the carvings along the walls began to pulse softly, one by one, like a sleeping giant stirring after endless time. The hum returned, louder than before, and Aaron knew with certainty. The Pharaoh's secret chamber was waking again, and this time it wouldn't be silent. The following morning, the camp was quiet. The desert wind had softened, and the sky stretched endlessly above the golden dunes. But for Dr. Aaron Miles, peace was impossible. His thoughts were buried deep underground, inside the dark chamber where the golden mask had spoken. He stood near the entrance of the dig site, his hands dusty, his face pale from lack of sleep. All night the same question haunted him. What did the mask mean by "the gate will answer to the heart that listens"? Mara approached with a clipboard, her brow furrowed. "Aaron, you've been standing here for an hour. You need rest." He shook his head. "I can't rest now, Mara. Something's happening down there." "The walls, the carvings, they were glowing when I left." She sighed. "I know, I saw it too before we sealed the chamber again. But the others are scared. Half of them want to leave." Aaron's eyes hardened with determination. "If they want to go, let them. I'm staying. I have to understand what this is. That mask, it's not a myth. It's a message from someone. Or something." Beyond us, Mara hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Then I'll stay too. You're not going in there alone." By afternoon, only a small part of the team remained. The rest had left, driving away across the endless desert road. The wind carried their voices until they vanished beyond the dunes. Aaron and Mara prepared their gear, cameras, lights, and scanners, and descended once again into the tomb. The air grew cool, dry, and still. The soft hum that once filled the chamber returned as they entered, steady and rhythmic like the slow heartbeat of the earth. The golden mask still rested atop the sarcophagus. Its surface shimmered faintly, though no light touched it. Aaron stepped forward and whispered, "We're back." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, as if hearing his voice, the mask's eyes flickered to life again. "Wanderer," the voice said, low and distant, "you have not fled. Few have the courage to remain." Aaron took a deep breath. "You said you remember death. You said the gate is opening. Tell me, what are you? What is this place?" The mask paused. Then its voice came again, softer this time, almost gentle. "This is not a tomb. It is a vault of memory. I am Ankara, who once ruled when the Sun Lords walked among men. You call them gods, but they were not gods. They were beings of the sky, your ancestors' teachers." Mara stared at the mask in awe. "The Sun Lords? The ones who came from the stars?" Yes, said the mask. They came when your world was young. They shaped rivers, lifted stones, and taught the first builders to use light instead of tools. They built the first gates and bridges between the worlds. But man's heart grew proud. They sought to control the light, not learn from it. And so the Sun Lords left. Before they departed, they sealed their knowledge away. Aaron's voice trembled with curiosity. And you? Why were you buried here? The golden mask glowed brighter, the hum around them deepening. Because I refused to forget, it said. When my people betrayed their teachers, I chose memory over ignorance. The Sun Lords granted me the mind of gold, a vessel that could hold thought beyond death. I became the keeper of their warning. Aaron stepped closer. And that warning is what? The gate must not open until humankind remembers humility. If the gate opens too soon, the sky will burn again. The words echoed across the chamber. Mara shivered. What do you mean, burn again? When man last touched the sun's fire, the mask continued, they used it to create weapons, not wisdom. The light that gave life also destroyed it. Continents vanished. The sky cracked. The Sun Lords rebuilt the world, but they could not rebuild human hearts. So they left. Aaron was silent, his mind racing. This story, this truth, was rewriting everything humanity knew about history. Ancient Egypt wasn't just a cradle of civilization. It was a remnant of something much older, something cosmic. Why tell me this? He finally asked. Why now? Because the gate stirs, the mask replied. When you broke the seal, the chamber awoke. The memory within me began to connect once more with the stars. I can feel their pull, faint but growing stronger. The Sun Lords are listening again. Mara's voice was low. Listening? To what? To you, the mask said simply. Your voices, your hearts, your curiosity. They listen for signs that mankind has learned. Aaron stared at the walls. The carvings, stars, suns, planets, were glowing faintly now, lines of light running through them like veins. They pulsed slowly, forming shapes, a circle, a triangle, and then an unfamiliar constellation. It shimmered in midair for a moment, projected like a map. Mara gasped. It's showing something. Aaron recognized the pattern. It was a group of stars near Orion, but slightly altered. That's not from Earth's sky, he said softly. These are coordinates. Yes, said the mask. The home of the Sun Lords, the cradle of the first light. They once called it Ratham, the heart of the flame. Aaron's hands trembled. He recorded every second, scanning the projection with his equipment. If this is true, he whispered, this could prove that humanity's history began among the stars. It will prove nothing if you destroy it, the mask warned. The last ones who tried to control the gate brought only ruin. Suddenly the light in the chamber flickered violently. A deep rumble shook the ground and dust fell from above. The projection shattered into streams of golden light that shot across the walls. What's happening? Mara shouted, grabbing Aaron's arm. The mask's voice grew louder, urgent. Something stirs beyond the gate. You awakened it before the world was ready. Aaron looked around in panic. How do we stop it? The gate must not open fully. You must seal the chamber again. The words carved in gold, speak them aloud. Aaron turned toward the entrance. The golden warning on the stone door glowed again. He who hears the voice of gold shall never leave. He hesitated. That doesn't sound like sealing it, it sounds like a curse. It is both, the mask said. To seal the gate, you must bind it with sound. The curse is the key. Mara shook her head. Aaron, we don't know what will happen if we do that. The ground rumbled harder. The statues along the walls began to move. Not physically, but their eyes glowed, releasing streams of golden light that converged at the center of the room, forming a swirling circle of energy. The gate! The mask cried. It remembers the path. Speak the words. Aaron looked at Mara. We have no choice. He faced the glowing door and read the inscription slowly, his voice echoing through the chamber. He who hears the voice of gold shall never leave. The instant he finished, a wave of light exploded from the sarcophagus. The sound of wind roared through the tomb, though there was no air. The glowing portal flickered, then began to close. The statues dimmed one by one. Aaron fell to his knees, shielding his eyes from the brightness. Mara grabbed his shoulder, shouting, It's working! But before the light vanished completely, the mask spoke one final time, its tone calm and haunting. You have silenced the gate, wanderer, but not forever. The Sun Lords will call again. When your kind is ready to listen, they will return. Then the light died. The chamber fell silent once more. Aaron looked up. The golden mask no longer glowed. It rested peacefully as if asleep again after a long dream. They climbed out of the tunnel, their clothes covered in dust, their faces pale and tired. The sun was setting beyond the dunes, painting the sky orange and red. Mara turned to Aaron. "Do you think it's over?" Aaron looked back at the entrance. "No," he said quietly. "It's only paused." That wasn't just a warning. It was a test. He gazed at the horizon where the last rays of sunlight met the stars beginning to appear. Somewhere out there he knew the Sun Lords were watching. Humanity had touched something ancient and powerful. And now, it was watching them back. The next morning came with a strange silence. The desert wind had stopped, and the sky above the ruins of Saqqara looked heavy with golden light. Dr. Aaron Miles stood near the main tent, sipping a cup of lukewarm tea. He could still hear the whisper from last night echoing in his mind. The chamber lives once more. He turned toward the excavation site, where the entrance to the tomb waited under a tent of black canvas. It looked harmless in the daylight, but Aaron knew there was something alive down there, something that had waited for centuries. Mara approached, carrying a small holographic scanner. "Aaron, you should see this," she said, her voice tight with curiosity and worry. She handed him the device. The display showed faint lines of energy moving through the walls of the chamber. They pulsed like a heartbeat. "It started around midnight," Mara said. "The energy pattern is spreading. It's like the whole chamber is waking up." Aaron nodded slowly. "It's responding to the mask. Or maybe to us." The rest of the team joined them near the entrance. Tarek, the engineer, looked uneasy. "If it's some kind of old alien machine, we shouldn't mess with it. We don't know what it can do." Aaron looked at him calmly. "We've come too far to stop now. We'll go slowly and observe everything. No one touches anything until I say so." He took the golden mask carefully from its storage case. The surface gleamed softly, and as soon as it touched his hands, a low hum filled the air. The mask's eyes lit up faintly. "The Watchers have stirred," the mask said in its deep, calm voice. "The chamber waits for the words of return." The team exchanged nervous looks. "What does it mean?" Mara asked. Aaron studied the mask. "Maybe it wants us to activate the chamber. There must be something in the carvings that tells us how." They returned to the lowest level of the tomb, where the sarcophagus had been found. The air inside felt different now, less dusty, more alive. Lines of golden light ran faintly along the walls, forming shapes that looked like constellations. Mara began scanning the symbols again. "Look," she said, pointing to a group of glyphs near the base of the wall. "These aren't regular hieroglyphs. They look mechanical, like commands." Tarek frowned. "Commands? You mean like code?" Aaron stepped closer. "Yes, maybe. The ancient Egyptians could have written down what they were told by their sun visitors in symbols that also carry function, like a code for this chamber." They began translating, one line at a time. After hours of work, the message began to form. "When the voice of gold is awakened and the names of stars are spoken, the gate of the Sky Lords shall open." Aaron read the line aloud softly. The moment his voice finished, the golden lines on the wall brightened. The floor trembled beneath their feet. "You have spoken the words of return," said the mask suddenly. Its eyes glowed brighter. "The chamber lives once more." The tremor grew stronger. Ancient dust fell from the ceiling. Hidden mechanisms began to move behind the stone. Panels slid open, revealing smooth metal underneath the carvings. What had once been a tomb now looked like a control room from another world. A large circular shape appeared at the far end of the chamber. It was about 10 meters across, marked with constellations. The air around it shimmered like heat waves. Mara's voice shook slightly. "That's not stone. It's metal. Look at the edges. Those lines are glowing." Aaron stared at the structure, his heart racing. "It's a portal," he whispered. "Or some kind of gate." The mask continued speaking, but its voice now echoed through the entire chamber. "In the age before the stars fell silent, the Sky Lords gave their knowledge to those who walked in sand and sun. The Pharaoh guarded their secret. When his time ended, he sealed this chamber and his mind within me." Aaron asked quietly, "Why now? Why open it after all these centuries?" "Because the stars have spoken again," the mask replied. "The Watchers beyond the veil have heard your voice." As it spoke, the circular gate began to rotate. Rings of golden light spun slowly, layer upon layer. The center shimmered until it looked like liquid sunlight. Everyone stepped back. The energy readings on Mara's scanner spiked beyond its limit. "This is impossible," she whispered. "We're seeing technology thousands of years ahead of us." "And it's working." Aaron turned toward the mask again. "If this is a gate, where does it lead?" "It leads to the halls of the Skylords," the mask answered. "They dwell beyond your world, where sons are born. You have called them. They will come." Tarek took a step back. "Wait, you mean actual beings are coming through that thing?" Aaron's heart pounded. If the Pharaoh really made a pact with them, maybe they've been waiting for this signal. Maybe they're coming back. The chamber filled with a growing hum. The golden portal now pulsed like a heartbeat, in rhythm with the energy running through the walls. Mara looked frightened. "Aaron, what if this is a warning? The mask said those who betrayed the Skylords were punished. What if opening this gate brings danger?" Aaron hesitated. She was right. The inscription did speak of betrayal, of forgotten promises, but something deep inside him told him that this was humanity's moment, to face its past and understand the truth. "We can't hide from knowledge," he said softly. "We can only learn from it." The air began to thicken with heat. The walls vibrated with deep resonant sound. The light from the portal grew so bright that everyone shielded their eyes. Then the voice of the mask thundered one last time. "The chamber of Ankara is awakened. The Skylords return to witness the children of Earth." Aaron could barely hear his own thoughts over the sound. He looked at his team. "Get the equipment recording everything. We're witnessing history." The golden light filled the chamber completely, and suddenly, silence. The vibration stopped. The air cooled instantly. The portal stood still, glowing faintly like molten glass. Mara lowered her hands. "Is it over?" she whispered. But Aaron knew it wasn't. The center of the portal rippled like water, and shadows began to move behind it. Shapes formed, tall, humanoid, but too graceful, too radiant to be human. Tarek gasped. "They're here." The figures stepped closer to the edge of the portal, but didn't cross through. Their forms were made of pure light, shifting between gold and white. "Children of Earth," came a deep echoing voice, not from the mask this time, but from beyond the portal itself. "You have broken the silence." Aaron took a hesitant step forward. "We didn't mean harm. We found your chamber buried beneath time. We only wanted to understand." "And so you shall," the voice said. "But understanding carries burden." The light brightened once again, casting long shadows on the ancient walls. The portal's surface swirled faster, and one of the radiant beings extended its hand toward Aaron. Though it didn't cross the gate, the light from it reached his chest like a warm sunbeam. "Pharaoh and Kara kept our trust. His people forgot, but his promise remained. You have woken what should sleep, human of the present. Guard it well." The mask in Aaron's hand glowed, its voice now merging with theirs. "The Skylords come not to rule, but to remind. The stars are calling once again." Aaron's mind filled with visions, cities made of crystal, ships sailing through suns, and a memory of Earth long ago when humans looked up and saw their teachers among the stars. Then, as suddenly as it began, the light faded. The portal dimmed to a soft golden hue, still alive but silent. The beings were gone. Aaron stood quietly, breathing heavily, his heart still racing. The chamber was calm again, though the walls still hummed faintly. Mara approached him. "What just happened?" she whispered. Aaron looked down at the mask in his hands. "We opened a door to our past," he said, "and maybe to our future." Outside, the sun was setting over the desert, turning the sand red and gold. The team stepped out of the tomb in silence, each one lost in thought. Above them, the stars began to appear one by one, brighter than usual, as if something out there was watching. Aaron held the mask close to his chest. Its eyes still glowed faintly, and its voice whispered one last time, almost like a sigh. "The chamber lives, but the test is yet to come." And in that moment, Aaron knew. The story of Pharaoh and Kara and the Skylords was far from over. Humanity had awakened something ancient, something powerful, and now the universe would be watching what they did next. The desert night was unusually quiet. The stars shimmered like tiny diamonds scattered across the black sky, clearer than any night Aaron had ever seen. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Dr. Aaron Miles stood near the excavation site, the golden mask in his hands. The events of the past days felt like a dream. But the warmth of the mask, pulsing softly against his chest, reminded him that it was real. Mara approached quietly, carrying a small tablet loaded with data from the chamber. "Aaron, the energy readings are still high. The chamber isn't sleeping. It's waiting." Aaron nodded. "I know, and I have a feeling we're about to see something no human has seen before." Hours passed. The camp's lights flickered under the dim glow of the stars. Then suddenly a shimmer appeared above the horizon, where the desert met the sky. At first it was barely visible, like a mirage, but it grew steadily. Aaron felt his heart race. Mara, the Sun Lords. The shimmer became a wave of light, coalescing into humanoid figures that floated gracefully above the sand. Their forms were tall and radiant, made of golden energy that seemed to shift and ripple like sunlight on water. The workers who had returned to the site stared in awe, their mouths open. Some dropped to their knees, but Aaron and Mara remained standing, frozen with wonder. "Children of Earth," a deep, melodious voice echoed, not from any one figure, but from the space itself. "You have awakened the chamber. You have called us." Aaron stepped forward cautiously, holding the golden mask. "We mean no harm," he said. "We only wish to learn the truth." "Learning requires responsibility," the voice replied. "Long ago your ancestors were taught to shape the stars and the light. They betrayed that trust, turning knowledge into tools of destruction. But a promise remained, a promise kept by Pharaoh and Kara." The mask pulsed in his hands, glowing softly. Its voice joined with the Sun Lords as if confirming their words. "The Pharaoh kept our secret. He remembered humility when others forgot. And now his warning is given again to your kind." One of the radiant beings floated closer, its light so bright that Aaron had to shield his eyes. Its form was elegant, with limbs elongated and smooth, and its presence was peaceful yet commanding. "You, human," the being said, "have awakened what should have remained hidden. Yet, unlike those before you, you did not seek to exploit it. You listened. That is why you remain." Aaron swallowed hard. We want to understand. Humanity wants to learn, not repeat past mistakes." "Words are only proof when backed by action," another figure said. "The gate you activated links worlds that are not yet ready for human recklessness. You must guard this knowledge. When your species is prepared, you will guide it responsibly." Mara stepped forward, her voice trembling. "What about the chamber? The portal?" "It remains," said the first being. "Dormant for now. The Sun Lords will return only when the time is right. Until then, it is your duty to keep the secret safe." Aaron looked down at the golden mask, still warm in his hands. Its surface shimmered with the same light that flowed through the beings before him. "The Pharaoh entrusted you, human," the mask said softly. "Guard what is hidden. Teach what is needed. Fail not, for the sky watches always." A soft wind passed through the camp, lifting the sand and carrying with it the faint sound of music, or perhaps memory, from an age long past. The radiant figures began to rise higher, their forms elongating further into beams of light stretching toward the stars. Aaron watched them go, heart pounding. "They're leaving," he whispered. "But not forever," Mara nodded. "We've seen enough to know how small we are, and how much we can still learn." The last of the Sun Lords disappeared into the night, leaving a faint shimmer across the desert. The golden mask in Aaron's hands dimmed, settling into a calm glow as though resting after centuries of waiting. The team returned to the tomb one last time, to document the chamber and make sure everything remained sealed. Aaron carefully replaced the golden mask on its pedestal within the sarcophagus. Its light pulsed once as if acknowledging him, and then it went dormant. "It is safe," he whispered. "For now." Mara examined the walls, taking careful readings. "Aaron, the technology here, it's incredible. Nothing like this has ever been seen. Not just the mask, but the entire chamber. The carvings, the energy conduits, the portal, all of it. It's proof that humanity was once guided by something greater." Aaron nodded. "And now it's our responsibility to protect it. Humanity isn't ready to know yet. We have to guard this knowledge until the right time comes." He looked at the golden mask one last time, then closed the sarcophagus. The chamber fell silent once more, filled only with the faint hum of ancient energy. Outside, the stars burned brighter than ever. Aaron and Mara sat on a dune, watching the sky. The desert was calm now, but a sense of eternity lingered in the air. "I can't stop thinking about what they said," Mara said softly. "The Sun Lords, guiding humanity, leaving it to grow on its own. It's like we've been given a second chance. Aaron nodded. We have, and we can't waste it. History has taught us that knowledge without responsibility is dangerous. But perhaps, if we remember humility and curiosity, we can prepare for when they return. The golden mask pulsed faintly in the distance, as if agreeing. In the following weeks, Aaron and Mara carefully documented the chamber, its carvings, and the traces of advanced technology embedded in the stone. They recorded every detail, every pulse of energy, and every symbol of the ancient stars. But they shared the story only with a select few, scholars who understood the weight of secrecy. Humanity could not yet bear the full truth, the knowledge of beings beyond the stars, the Sun Lords, or the hidden power of Pharaoh Ankara. And so, the desert kept its secret. The golden mask rested in silence. The chamber slept, waiting. At night, Aaron often returned to the dunes, looking up at the stars. Sometimes he thought he saw a faint glow moving among them, a reminder that the watchers of the sky were still there. He whispered to himself in the desert, "We will guard it. We will learn. We will remember." And far beyond Earth, the Sun Lords looked on, patient, knowing that the children of humanity had survived their test. The stars waited for the day when humanity would finally be ready to walk among them, not as conquerors but as learners. The golden mask pulsed softly in its resting place. The last words of Pharaoh Ankara echoed faintly through the chamber. "Guard the chamber. When the world is ready, we shall return." And with that, the desert fell silent, the stars shining down like the eyes of ancient watchers, keeping eternal vigil over the children of Earth.